So welcome guys to Bhagavad-Gita. I'm continuing from the part 8. So this is the highest knowledge which must be taught before anything else, and it's meant for every human being as long as you are human. So don't consider it to be just for religious people. It's for religious, anti-religious, for anyone as long as you are human. So let's continue. When the wife dies, not only the wife dies, the husband also dies. The truth is that the husband was born along with the wife. There was no husband before. If the wife dies, so the husband also dies. If the son dies, the mother also dies, because the mother was not a mother before the son. She became a mother only with the birth of the son. When a son is born on one side, the son is on the another side, the mother is also born, so they are interlinked. And when a son dies on one side, the son dies on the other side, the mother dies as well. What we have called ours, we are attached to, we also die with that. When Arjuna saw that all of his own people were gathered, then it's not surprising if Arjuna saw his own suicide. Arjuna was not frightened by the death of others. Arjuna was frightened by the possibility of suicide. He felt that if all of his people die, then how will he be left? He will die too, because according to him, others are also a part of him. It is a bit like thinking, our I is the name of the sum of our loved ones. What we call I is the name of the combination of our ones and other of our ones. So we consider like our wife or other brothers to be part of us. So, we are interlinked. If all I have left me, I will be lost. I can't escape. This is me partly connected to my father, partly connected to my mother, partly to my son, partly to my friend. All these are connected. The surprising thing is that not only connected to those whom we call our own, it is also connected to those whom we call as our strangers outside the periphery. But it is also connected to them as well. So when my enemy dies as well, I also die, like a part of I die with them. Because I will never be the same again as I was when my enemy was there. Even the enemy used to give something to my life. He was my enemy, he will be my enemy, but he was my enemy, so the focus stays on mine. I had a relationship with my enemy also. Without him, I would again be incomplete and empty. If Arjuna had seen the others would be killed, it would have been a different matter. Arjuna felt deep down that he was eager to commit suicide. If I who will die, if I die, what is the meaning of my existence? When it is not mine, even if I get everything, it is useless. This also requires some thinking. Whatever we collect for ourselves is less for ourselves and more for our loved ones. The house we build is less for ourselves and more for our loved ones, for those near and dear ones who will be with us, and those near and dear ones who will see and admire, and also for those strangers whom we call as our enemies, who will be on fire and filled with jealousy. So they will also influence you. Even if the best house on the earth is left with me and I no longer have any of my own, neither friends nor enemies, then suddenly I will find that the house has become worse than a hut, because that building was a facade, just a show. I was influencing my own people and strangers through that building. The building was just an arrangement to impress. Now who do I impress? The clothes you wear are also less to cover your body and more to catch the eyes of others. Everything becomes meaningless when one is alone. What thrones you achieve while climbing is less for the pleasure of sitting on the thrones, because no one has ever attained any pleasure by sitting on the thrones alone. But the charisma, the miracles that we create by climbing on thrones is to show to our own people and strangers Whatever we do, it's only a show off for others to see. Consider that you remain sitting on the throne and the people below watching you disappear. Suddenly you will find that sitting on the throne has become ridiculous. If you come down after you see there are no watchers, then probably you won't climb again. At that moment Arjuna felt that his own people were gathered on both sides. Our own people will die. Even if he wins, what is the purpose of the victory? Victory is not desired for the sake of victory. The joy of victory is that one who fills the ego between his own and strangers. What will be the meaning of getting an empire? There will be no meaning. This sadness that filled the Arjuna's mind should be understood properly. This sadness is of maternal love. The sadness is of violent mind. And it was because of this sadness that Krishna had to push Arjuna so much. If there had been a person like Mahavir in place of Arjun, that matter would have ended immediately. This thing could not continue further. Had there been a person like Mahavir, perhaps this issue would not have even arisen. Perhaps if there would have been a person like Mahavir, Krishna would not have even spoken a single word. There was no point in speaking. The matter would have ended. So Mahavir is like another person who is like, there is another religion called Jain. So if you want to go in detail, you can look for that. So Mahavir is also a practical implicator of Bhagavad-Gita. So whatever these guys have achieved, everything is linked from Bhagavad-Gita. So Bhagavad-Gita is kind of a formula that gives you all the paths to connect to God. This Gita was less said by Krishna and more by Arjuna. It's the real author. The writer is not Krishna. It's the real author is Arjuna. Actually, Arjuna is just a lower version of Krishna and is representing entire mankind. This state of mind of Arjuna has become the basis, and it is clearly visible to Krishna that a violent person has attained the full vision of his violence. And now the reason why he is talking about running away from violence is also because of his violent mind. Arjuna's dilemma is not the dilemma of a non-violent person running away from violence. Arjuna's dilemma is the dilemma of running away from the violence of the violent. It is important to understand this truth properly. This maternal violence on the top, but in the deep it is pure violence, which is not visible from the top. When I call someone mine, the possession begins, ownership begins. Ownership is a form of violence. The husband says to the wife, you are mine. Then the ownership starts. The wife says to the husband, you are mine. The ownership starts. And whenever we became the master of a person, we destroy that person's soul. We have killed that person in saying, it's belonging to me. So this thing, like the maternal violence on the top, it looks on the top, but in the deep down it's pure violence. It's not like maternal violence, which is not visible from the top. So we broke it. In fact, we are treating that person not like a person but like an object. Now the wife becomes mine in the same sense that the chair is mine. The husband is mine in the same sense that the house is mine. Naturally, wherever I am concerned, love does not result. Only discord results. Therefore, as long as husbands and wives claim mine, fathers and sons claim mine, there can only be discord between fathers, sons, husbands and wives in the world. There cannot be friendship. The claim of Maya is the destruction of friendship. The claim of Maya turns things upside down. Everything becomes violence. I will also give you, like after Bhagavad Gita, my understanding is that whatever you are seeing, anybody you are seeing, any tree or any person, mostly you are connected to people rather than trees. Like the people are more connected, like there's exceptions, like people are connected to their pets and trees. There are some exceptions, but mostly I'm talking about the majority of the people. So basically they are your future or your past versions. This is the truth, guys. So you are only watching yourself. So it may sound a little bit weird to you. So when you are even having like a relationship with your wife or girlfriend, it is basically your past or your future. So you are fucking your past or your future. You will learn it from Bhagavad-Gita. Like I will give you the, like why I'm thinking like this, I will give you the answer when we will go for the further concepts of Bhagavad-Gita. Like you are alone actually in this world. This is just an illusion. You are just watching yourself. Like you are even if you are attracted to girls or women, you are attracted to your past. You can say that. This is an example. So I have heard that a man is married, but his wife is not very educated. The husband said, I have a great desire in my mind that my wife should write letters sometime. Then when the husband has gone out of the house, before he leaves, he explained this to her how to write. She started to write a little. He also explained to her what to write, so she could write what her husband wanted to hear. So this is a great example. All the husbands and wives are explaining to each other on what to write. He had told her to write, my dearest to life, this never happens actually, and told her to write below, your slave of the feet. Like it's a way of Indian saying, like tumhare charno ki dasi. I received the letter from my wife, but something went wrong. She wrote above, my dearest slave of the feet, and wrote below, thirsty for your life. So since the wife was uneducated, so she made a mistake. She wrote the thing that was supposed to write on the top, she wrote at the bottom, and what she was supposed to write at the bottom, she wrote at the top. So this is what is happening as well, like when we do ownership. The situation of those who do not write is also similar. The situation of those who write absolutely correctly is also similar. Where there is an urge for ownership, we create only hatred. And where there is hatred, there will be violence. Therefore, all our relationships have become relationships of violence. Our family has become a relationship of violence. This is what Arjuna saw. If all of mine would be destroyed, then where would I be? And what is the meaning of victory and empire by destroying my own? This does not make him non-violent, otherwise Krishna would have blessed him and say, leave, the matter is over. But Krishna sees that he is completely violent. I am talking about a different kind of affection in Arjuna's case. Hence, non-violence is false in case of him. Whoever is talking about I and non-violence, then that non-violence is false. Because the flower of non-violence does not bloom on the basis of I. There is no development in the life of non-violence on the basis of mine in everything. So like I want to repeat it, like whoever is talking about I and non-violence, then know that non-violence is false. Like whoever considered them as together, like I and non-violence, so they're basically false. They are wrong. Their non-violence is false. So after that, there was a question that was asked. Lord, when Arjun went to the battlefield, then he saw his relatives, teachers and friends. He was filled with grief. He felt sad. His mind was violent. Duryodhana was also present on the battlefield. Yudhishthira was also there. Dronacharya was also there, and many others were present who also saw the relatives and friends. Their mind was also filled with violence and attachment. So why did Arjuna only feel sad? So it's a very deep question, like why did only Arjuna was feeling sad? Others were also there, like his big brother. They were completely confident and want to fight. Why did only Arjuna felt grief and sad at that moment? So this I will continue the answer in my next video. So guys, just want to tell you again. So I'm posting this not only because it's my own personal experience, but I know that this is for the help of entire mankind. And it's not meant for just religious or like any kind of other different religions, but it's for all the religions. Thank you guys.